4, 3, 2, 1.
And it's live.
This is Leicester Till I Die TV. Watch and subscribe on YouTube and listen on your podcast platform.
Hello, everybody. Yes, it's me again. I know you've missed me, but I'm back. You know, how did you manage for those 3 or 4 minutes without me? Oh, God. Hi, Tom. How you doing, mate? That was a long one.
That was a long one, mate. It shows you what happens when Leicester have a terrible performance. There's a lot to talk about, isn't there?
Well, and I'd cut it really down with this sort of, you know, because normally we go through the tactics and how many shots, and I'd cut all that out. But no, there we go. We covered what we needed to cover, and here we are. I don't know. Do you know the score for the game tonight? Birmingham are playing.
No, I haven't kept up with it actually, but I can have a quick look.
I'm sure I've not got anything in the prediction anyway.
No, we haven't on this one, have we? Birmingham has scored 2 goals, so it's 2-0 to Birmingham by the looks of it.
Fair play.
Yeah, 2-0. Yeah, Damari Gray scores, so that sums up our week, doesn't it?
Well, exactly. Tom Cannon and Damari Gray. I'm just having a look. I had them down, Birmingham. I had them down as 2-1. So,
ooh, you might be in for 3 points, Chris.
Well, to be honest with you, I got 5 points in the Super 6 this week.
Yeah, I only got the 4, so I've had a bad week. 4 and 2, I think it was.
Oh, 4 for me is a fucking brilliant week. And I got 2 in the Barry Fry Trophy as well, but that was the same as Josh. Right. Let's hope. Let's see. Well, we've got 2 weeks to cover. Do you like my new Foxes t-shirt, by the way?
Yeah, I spotted that earlier. It's very jazzy, isn't it?
Yeah.
I like that.
And to be honest with you, this sums up most Leicester fans at the moment.
We should change our badge to that going forward, really. I think it really suits the club's mentality right now.
Exactly. I have got, to be honest with you, I'm embarrassed to wear a Leicester shirt abroad. That's how bad it is at the moment. So I might take this, because this time next week, I will be sat, time is it 9:05? Yeah. I'll be sat in a nice Italian restaurant on the harbour side. It'll be dark, but we'll be able to see the sea lapping in the moonlight. It'll be warm. I'll be tucking into a nice Italian dish. What will you be doing this time next week?
Probably like this time this week, I'll probably be sat here with the heating off trying to be warm, yeah.
Right. Okay. Got some news first. Let's just go through it. Tomorrow night, and I haven't included this in any of the prediction things at all, Blackburn Rovers taking on Ipswich Town. I still think that I don't think they're going to do it, but I think Ipswich should gift Blackburn Rovers a goal.
Yeah, I do as well.
They're not going to do it, I don't believe, but we don't know. We obviously did that when we played Forest that time. Yeah. I mean, Ipswich were down to 10 men, weren't they?
They were, yeah. It was all in Blackburn's favour this game when it got back.
Yeah. But then again, I can understand the game being cancelled, health and safety and all that. So I do get that. Get your comments in, by the way, guys, and you can see it'll appear in the bottom right there. So please do add your thoughts as we go through. But I mean, the 80th minute, oh my God, but it has to be abandoned at some time. We'd say there's only 10 minutes, but there could have been 10 minutes of injury time. So it could have been 20 minutes. And then somebody breaks to leg.
Yeah, that's it. I still think we should have employed the same strategy for the game on Saturday. We should have had it prepared so we could have flooded the pitch and pretended the water mains broke or something. We'd had an extra chance of that Sheffield United game then, wouldn't we?
Yeah, we'll still fucking lose it, won't we? But have the sprinklers coming on, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Uncontrollable.
Yeah, I've got to say with this one, I do feel for Blackburn. Come on, Blackburn. I hope you beat Ipswich on this one. The other news is, you may have heard today, Sheffield Wednesday handed further 6-point deduction for breaching EFL regulations after going into administration. So they got the 6 points for, was it 6 points? No, 12 points they got, I think, wasn't it? Oh, yeah, 12 points. It's there. Sheffield Wednesday been handed a further 6-point deduction. The Owls were previously given a 12-point deduction in October after filing for administration. Wednesday were already bottom of the championship table and now sit on minus 10 points. Maybe we won't come bottom then.
No, that's something. I mean, for Sheffield Wednesday, though, it's like being kicked when you've already got two broken legs, isn't it, really?
It is. And does Chanziri give a shit now? No.
No, not at all, mate, no.
You know, so what is the purpose of doing that? Yes, I know the rules are rules, etc. Maybe play a couple of games behind closed doors. But even then, the fans are getting hurt.
Well, exactly. I mean, EFL and the Football League and the Premier League, they seem to have got this thing where they seem to like to kick certain clubs, but other ones get away scot-free with rules they can barely regulate, and they've got so much holes in them they could be Swiss cheese. I mean, look at Chelsea. I always moan about this. 300 million overspent for PSR, sold a few things to themselves and got out of it. That would be, what, a 30, 40-point deduction, Chris? That would be a relegation. Yeah. So I find this really, really a sour taste for me, honestly. But I'm intrigued the fact Leicester hasn't had anything yet. I thought that was going to happen by now, and it hasn't.
Well, they've had the meeting, haven't they?
Yeah, exactly. But they haven't announced anything. So I'm hoping I'm right that they're not going to enforce anything with us, because we could be in a similar position to them if they do.
Yeah. I think we will, unfortunately. I do think we will. But
let's not get into that argument to start this show. We'll be here for another hour and 25 minutes doing that portion, mate, to be honest.
We will. Sorry, I've only just updated the banner, which I hadn't got time to. I didn't think that show was going to last that long. So we feel sorry for Sheffield Wednesday. I really don't see what they're getting away with here, the EFL, by doing that. But hey, it gives somebody a hard on up at the EFL head office, doesn't it?
I think so. I think it put some 27 points from safety now, so it's over, isn't it?
It is for them. Right, now we had some midweek games, but we're not going to go into these in any detail. But we just want to cover these. Tuesday night, Norwich 1, Oxford 1. Probably a better point for Norwich than Oxford.
Well, I don't know. I think the funny thing about Oxford is they keep picking up these points against teams around them. I mean, they haven't turned many of them into wins, but then they seem to go and get wins against bigger clubs almost. So I think Oxford, bear in mind the new manager, Chris, they probably wanted to get off. Norwich wanted to get off to a good start, didn't they, at home? I think they'll be quite disappointed with that, actually.
I can see where you're coming from with that, definitely. We'll obviously go through the weekend games in more detail. Middlesbrough 2, Coventry 4. They're just a juggernaut, aren't they, Coventry? I mean...
Yeah.
It would be funny, and it could happen that they just fall off the cliff completely.
Well, it could. I mean, there's still going to be games they are going to lose this year, but it might not be that many. This puts them over 50 goals so far this season, Chris. They're the highest scoring team in England now.
Oh, I wish. Stoke beating my team, Charlton. Say my team, my second team, third, fourth, maybe. Stoke City 3, Charlton 0. Good comeback by Stoke, having been beaten by us.
Yeah, it was that one, isn't it? I mean, Charlton are still dealing with these injury problems a bit, which hasn't helped them because they've already got a limited squad, haven't they? But yeah, it was a good reaction from Stoke, because they want to try and keep up towards the top end and keep dreaming, which their fans didn't expect this season.
Yes, yeah. Swansea 1, Derby 2. Really bad season for Swansea at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, and they've made this new managerial appointment costing £1 million to get him out of Maritimo, haven't they? And you do wonder, have they brought the wrong manager in, like we've questioned with a few other clubs in this league when they've made a change recently? Yeah, including Leicester, right? So yeah, it's a bit of a gamble that to go for a foreign manager where you're in the dogfight at the bottom of the league now. So yeah, I mean Swansea, we'll get more into Swansea with the next game as well. But Derby again, Chris. I mean, they've been on quite a run recently. Of course, they're next up for us as well.
Well, exactly. Watford won, Preston won.
Yeah, I mean, fascinating one, this one, because Watford haven't really jumped as much as you could suspect for a new manager bounce, but obviously they've changed their style and formation as well. But Preston, once again, I mean, they're showing the qualities that Heckingbottom wants, which is a lot of resilience no matter who they play against. So they just keep picking up 1 point, 3 point, don't they? So that's what keeps them in the top 6 at the moment.
Ipswich, look, just shows go on a good run. You go from, just outside the relegation to inside the playoffs, and a 2-0 win against a team that's not been doing too bad, Hull City.
Yeah, I think that was probably the surprise of it, honestly, because Hull have been one of those teams at home that you've been very good this year, really. So for Ipswich to go there, of all places, and get the result they probably have wanted a few games now was a bit of a surprise, really, and especially keeping Hull scoreless, because they've been quite good at scoring goals as well. So credit to Ipswich for that one, at least.
Yeah. I've got to mention it, haven't I? Southampton 3, Leicester 0. I guess, look, we got a point in the second half because we drew the second half. For my thoughts on this game, we've done a couple of, we did a post-match review on this one. Go and see that. We got what we deserved, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, the thing that fascinated me about this game was how going into it, the Southampton fans were all saying this is a very good team on paper. If the manager gets a good result here, we should definitely hire him. All the Leicester fans are going, they're going to utterly hammer us. And look what happened. Yeah, I mean, Southampton fans probably weren't appreciating how bad we are at this point. But yeah, good result for them. They, ultimately they killed us, mate.
They did. They totally did. I actually sent a message to my Southampton mate saying, like, well done, you deserve it. And then I said, the next message was, if you don't give this manager the job full time, your chairman needs a lobotomy. And then he replied back after the weekend, thanks. As soon as he said that, we bloody lost.
It's funny, that, isn't it? My mate, I used to live with a housemate of mine in Oxford. He's a Southampton fan. He messaged me just watching the show saying, feed it into my veins. That was all I got.
Yeah. Sheffield United 3, Portsmouth 0. My God, this was a note of what was to come, wasn't it?
It was. I mean, Sheffield United have scored 3 before this one as well. So, I mean, the 3 seems to be their magic number at the moment. And yeah, they carried it on from here. But Portsmouth with the red card as well. And Pompey obviously now starting to really slip into a real difficult relegation battle.
Yes, yeah. And of course, a manager at Sheffield United that wanted to come to Leicester.
Yeah, I still wonder if maybe we should try and pinch him because they did in the wrong and in the summer. So maybe he wants to do the wrong and back to them. See how long his contract is, see what we could do. And let's maybe tap him up. Why not for the laughs?
I tell you what, it shows that, some managers come in, take over a poorly performing club that's not his team because the players most of the players that he had from the previous season, Sellés sold because he wanted to try a different style. So he's having to do this with Sellés' players. So, interesting that, isn't it, Mr. Cifuentes?
They're only 10 points off the playoffs now, though, Chris.
Yeah, I know. Blackburn 0, QPR 1. They had started to play well, but this was a good win for QPR. Yeah,
QPR are funny. Away from home, they seem to actually get a result you're not really expecting. I mean, I would put this down as a draw, really. And Blackburn haven't quite... they have spells, don't they, Blackburn? But then they can't seem to get on this run. They seem to be... And ironically, they seem to be better away from home as well. I think they're undefeated away from home going into Saturday's game. So fascinating how that's panned out.
Whatever you say about Sheffield Wednesday, they battle. They battle. I wish our players showed a tenth of the passion and battle that Sheffield Wednesday players buy. Yeah, they're going down. Look, you can't get deducted 18 points and stay up. I know Bournemouth did it that time with 17, but it's not going to happen, unfortunately. But they're still playing for the pride of the shirt, and just only letting the one goal in against Millwall, I don't think was that bad.
No, not at all. No. And the thing is as well, I think when the world's against you, your true character really comes out, doesn't it? And if we compare it to Leicester, because of what we've got as a close sort of thing to us as our fan base, I think a lot of us will be a lot more proud of being Sheffield Wednesday fans than Leicester fans right now.
Yes, indeed. I say I am totally embarrassed to be a Leicester fan at the moment.
No, it's not good, is it?
Wrexham 2, Bristol City 0. They do like a win at home, don't they?
They do indeed. Also, a shocking result as well because Bristol City obviously been pottering along quite nicely in that
Yeah.
5th and 6th position, and Wrexham all of a sudden, Chris, are in the top half of the table and starting to dream a little bit. So, if they can get the consistency after this and start beating teams like this every week, then who knows? Maybe the Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney army is going to cause a bit of a shock.
Well, yeah. And then the final game midweek, Birmingham Derby, and it was a 1-1.
Yeah, Birmingham West Brom. Yeah, but you were close with the Derby settlement.
No, I meant it was a Derby game.
Oh, sorry, Chris.
Sorry, I can understand how it sounded. I didn't mean it like that. Yes, yeah.
I know what you mean. Yeah, I mean, obviously the pressure's on West Brom, isn't it, to really try and win that because of they've sort of started to drop down the table. But yeah, so I think there was still a lot of boo boys after that, and they probably will look at that as a game they probably should have won, despite Birmingham being in a good run of form. I mean, Birmingham have scored 4 goals in a lot of their games recently, so I imagine actually keeping them to 1 isn't too bad, really, in the circumstances.
Indeed. Right, let's move on then. That was midweek games. Quickly forgotten.
Yeah.
And we'll go to the weekend games. Started on Friday night, and I have to say, I actually had this on the telly, and I don't want to give it to them again, but I have to say, what a performance from Oxford.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing, isn't it, really, how they do this? Because I think everyone else would have thought this is Ipswich's second win of the week, and this is going to be the thing that gets them back towards that automatic promotion chase, right? But it's another game where you've got to credit Gary Rowett for what he's doing at Oxford, because as a side, they kind of know what they're good at and they know what they're not good at. And they really focus on the good, which is trying to play direct, trying to use their skilled players to the maximum they can. They've got some great long-range goals this year, Chris. If you look back at the setup and scoring some wonder goals for them, and then you realise, like that's part of what this championship is, and that's kind of the undoing of Ipswich, who are stuck with this formation that they're trying to play kind of like us a little bit. And they're not quite firing yet, are they? So, no, a lot of credit to Oxford for this, because I think this is a result they had to get in the circumstances, the way the league table was going as well. And at the end of the season, mate, if there's 2 points they survived by, it was from this game.
Yeah, and it was a good second winning goal, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was beautiful. I mean, that guy, I said to the boys, I look at Oxford's bench and I go, I wish I had some of their players they could put on the bench at Leicester, because they're impact players who come off really, make an effort, and they've got a little bit of something about them, They kind of they're so embedded in the underdog culture, which I loved at Leicester, that I'm pulling for them, I want them to stay up, and I think they're using that.
Yeah. Like I say, really, really, really good result. Look, if you want a more detailed review of the next game, go and see the show that we've just done. It's in the review playoff. The review list. Somebody once said football's a game of two halves.
Yes, that's right.
This sums it up probably more than anything that I can think of.
Yeah, I mean, the funny thing is about it is you've got to win one of those halves by the highest score to the other one, haven't you? So, I mean, look, it was terrible. I mean, I think we're at the point now where there's been a few times this season we've seen a bit of a rallying cry for Leicester in the second half, and we've still come away empty-handed, and I think that's why the fans are still taken to this result really badly, right? Because there's too many times we are putting ourselves into the mess in the first place by the playing out from the back and stuff, the things which are kind of catching us out and proving to be completely counterintuitive to what we should be trying to do as a football club right now. So yeah, very disappointing, Chris. Kind of expected though as well, wasn't it? Unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, do you think that we look at you can look at this game and go, oh, brilliant! What a fight back! What a 3-0 down at half time. You're normally expecting Sheffield United to go on and get maybe 4 or 5 or if not more. Wasn't it a good fight back by Leicester? It kind of papers over the cracks, I think.
I think it does a little bit, yeah. I mean, the funny thing about that as well is we've seen it earlier in this season that Preston managed to do this to Sheffield United. Sheffield United were 2-0 up in that game, and Preston fought back to win 3-2. So they've got pedigree of if you put them under pressure, like how they started putting us under pressure, that they can fold because they're not the finished article yet under Wilder. They're still building, right? So the disappointment is that, I think Leicester still could have won this game. I still think there was times we made some poor decisions and, towards the end, and we could have probably kept our heads a little bit more and still played in that attacking way we were showing. I mean, Jordan James scored that wonder goal to give us hope with 8 minutes to go, but, we didn't capitalise on that. We needed then to even increase the tempo, increase the pace, and we were still not quite there. I mean, we got what we deserved.
We did. We did. Coming out the second half at the end of the match and saying that second half was how I want my teams to play, said Marty Cifuentes, why the fuck isn't you starting playing like that?
Well, exactly. I mean, Preston played 3-5-2 against them as well, which makes me think, why didn't we start? Why aren't we looking at this? Why aren't we doing our due diligence like every other team in the Championship and their manager groups are and going, well, how does this team play? How are we going to set up? It makes me really worried for Derby on Saturday because Derby would have seen this.
Yeah, exactly. So the first game, Oxford, Ipswich, I went 2-0 to Ipswich.
Yeah.
So I didn't do very well there. And I went 1-1 in this one.
Yeah, you were being very nice. What did I went for 3-0 Sheffield. No, I went for 2-0 Sheffield United because I felt a bit harsh giving them all. Yeah.
Yeah, when that third goal went in, part of my celebration was thinking, yeah, there's your 3 points in the prediction league gone out the window, mate.
I felt bad for going for 4-0 against Southampton. Do you know what I mean? But I knew I was right. It was going to be that sort of game. I was like, I can't do it for back-to-back games. So wait till you get my Derby one this week, mate.
Right. Portsmouth, Bristol City. Bristol City getting back on the bus, as they say. I mean, Bristol are currently... Oh, it's 2-1 now to Birmingham. Bristol City are... Oh, which I said 2-1, didn't I? Blow the whistle, ref. Referee, end it now. I'm Donald Trump. End it now. Bristol City back up to 6th with this. Portsmouth... Yeah, they're getting into... They're down there now. They're in the bottom 3. They are in trouble. 17 points. So it is only on 1 goal difference, but I think Portsmouth are going to struggle.
I think they are. I think they might be forced into a managerial change in a moment as well because the home support is starting to get disgruntled as well, and that's only one win now in the past 9 games for Portsmouth. And Bristol City, mate, were dominant in this game. At half-time, they could have been 3 or 4 up. That's the reality of it. It could have been a lot worse than what it actually looks. To Portsmouth's credit, they did grow into the game second half, kind of like how Leicester did against Sheffield United. Josh Murphy is their constant threat for them, but when he's not involved as well, they do look a bit dry there completely as well. But outside of that, if you are in that position where Bristol City haven't taken their advantage and scored a few more goals, that's the point for me where you've got to try and nick something from it. And they could have nicked something from it. Things were cleared off the line, but it wasn't enough, and that's what makes you think this team is probably going to get in a relegation mess.
No, I do get what you're saying there. Well done to Bristol. Like you say, they're back. I'd love to see Bristol. I've said this before in the Premier League, basically because they've never been there.
The biggest city in the country to never had a Premier League team.
No, well, there you go. The man with the facts, Mr. Wikipedia. But yeah, fair play to them. Portsmouth, yeah, I'm really beginning to worry for them. A team that started off so well. We were praising Mark Robins. They're like, oh, look what Lampard's doing. He's doing that with Robins' team. And look at Robins. He's now gone to Stoke and, he's got 2 teams in the top, 3 or 4. They did win midweek, but the wheels have started to come off a little bit. I mean, they lost to us, and I'm being funny, but that's embarrassing. I don't think the wheels are coming off. They're still sat in 4th, but they lost to Hull, who were down in 8th. I mean, it's such a tight league this year, isn't it?
It is. There's not much of a point spread across any of it, is there? But I kind of get where you're getting at with Robins. I kind of feel with Mark Robins after this game. Has he got a ceiling? is this kind of his limit of what he can do with any club, including Coventry? And can he get beyond this? Because it seems to me that if Sorba Thomas isn't out there scoring worldie goals half the time for them, they might lose a game of football. That seems to be the only differentiator I can see, because on the day we played them, we shut him up surprisingly, which is quite a shock for us. But doing that seemed to, because Manhoff didn't actually, when he got through, do anything for them. He was all flair, but very little actual finish or substance. So, I mean, we look at our squad on paper, it is a mid-table squad. So I think he's doing very well in that regard. But of course, they come up against Hull, mate, and Hull are kind of the gate crashers of this league. Everyone had written them off before they started, because we forget at the start of the season they had problems behind the scenes with the ownership, they had problems with money, and they've managed to band together as a band of brothers, and they seem to have this disruptive element about them and a tactical nuance for the manager where he knows how to play different formations and he knows how to match up against teams. So I think Hull, once again, if you're ever looking for a surprise away from home any week, Hull's your team to look at, because they've just got a way how they seem to keep doing this. And I wonder if Stoke, mate, might be another one I nominate, like Middlesbrough, who I think might not even make the playoffs despite doing so well early.
Yeah. I got the right number of goals, just in the wrong order.
You had it 2-1 to Stoke, yeah.
I did 2-1 to Stoke, yeah. Then we came to the second, obviously after Leicester, the second of the Super Six. Coventry taking on Charlton. This hurt me, and I had a bit of a. I always, when I do the prediction league, I put the 6 games up that, because anybody who's watching it doesn't realise, our prediction league is like a Super Six, which has actually made it a lot more interesting than doing it as the whole game, and I think we'll probably stick with that going forward. But normally, I wait until I've done the prediction show. And I've sat there and I've done like things like this there for every single game, the win percentages, the home advantage, the XGs, the XGAs, and I do all that. And I've sat near the bottom of the league virtually all season. So this time I went on and I listed the games. I put it in the chat. I listed the games, and then I just sobbed this, and I looked at it and I went, right, yeah, they're higher than they are, they're lower than they are, they're and all this. And I'd forgotten, so I was doing the prediction show and I was putting my predictions in, and I realised that I'd already done them. So I had to go back and say, oh no, I said that for that. But so originally I actually had this as 4-1 to Coventry.
Yeah.
Josh had it as 4-0. I then realised I need to go back to what my original prediction was, which was 2-0. So I got the outcome, and I always feel a little bit at the moment, when I pick Coventry to be in the Super Six, I'm thinking like, well, it's an easy point.
Yeah, that's true, because they've only lost once this season, Chris.
Yeah.
Who predicted their one loss this season? Who was the only person out of the 20 people?
Oh, I can't remember. Who was it? I know. You're lovely Wrexham.
Yeah. Saw it coming, because you got to lose at some point.
No, you have. You have. When we had Enzo in, I was so glad that we lost our first game. I think it was like 12 games in or something. And we lost our first game. I'm thinking, thank God we've got that out of the way. Because it looked like an albatross around your neck.
Yeah.
It hurt me because, as much as you like Oxford, I do say quite like Charlton. And I can't, nobody asked me, I can't explain it. But yeah, Coventry 3-1 there. Can anybody stop them this season?
It's looking very unlikely, because at the moment they're probably on fire to maybe score 140 odd goals this year, Chris. You know, I mean, it's frightening, isn't it? Only one loss in 12 matches as well for Coventry, like we mentioned. They got 15 more goals, mate, in England than any other side. The second place team is MK Dons. 15 more goals than MK Dons. Unstoppable. They're on an utter freight train. If they do fall apart, it'll be one of the most colossal collapses in football history. I
think if they fall apart, it'll be up there. Do you remember Newcastle?
Yes, with Kevin Keegan.
Yes. I mean, that funny thing is about that is they were doing so well. Newcastle was streets ahead. All right, we had the famous "I'd love it if," breakdown moment. But the interesting thing was that it all went wrong after January, the transfer window. That they went and bought a Sprilla, who was an excellent player, but
Yeah.
it just completely destroyed what was going on at the team.
That's right. Yeah, it was funny because Espria was a bit of a left field one to come because no one knew about him, did they? Don't forget, back then there wasn't a transfer window either. There was transfers going on all the time back in those days.
Was there?
Yeah. We used to buy players whenever you wanted back in those.
Oh no,
days.
I know there hasn't always been a transfer.
But he did come in at Christmas. Yeah.
They did it, right? And I just think it interesting. It would be of those proportions, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right, mate. Yeah.
But no disrespect to Coventry, wouldn't we love it if it happened?
Oh, mate, I would love it as well. And also, it would make Brad feel happy because he's quite anti, these ex-Premier League footballers becoming managers.
Isn't he just?
Yeah.
I have to say, when you look at like second, at the moment it's Middlesbrough. It has been Stoke. It has been Preston. West Brom were up there at one point. Coventry are always there, but that pack behind them is just changing all the time. It's like I tell you what it's like. It's like a Formula One race. You got Verstappen out in front, and you know he's probably going to win it, but it's more interesting as to who's going to get second.
It is, and I think the way this season's going, I think the team that gets second might not even be in the playoffs right now.
You could be right.
I've got a gut feeling because there's a lot of momentum that's going to shift later on, isn't there, Chris? So, yeah, I think it's interesting. With this game, it's the other thing as well is, Charlton took the lead in this game, which was a bit of a shame. They couldn't obviously hunker down because they've been very good defensively at points this year, but they got this injury problem. Their fullbacks in particular are injured. So with the formation they play, they're having to play wingers as fullbacks who aren't good at tackling, right? So that makes it very susceptible, especially against a Coventry team that on average is scoring 3 goals a game, right?
Yeah. Hi, Armchair. How are you doing? He's agreeing about Coventry unstoppable. No other team good enough to put a run together. It won't be Leicester. No. Three comments, three agreements, I think, from both of us on there.
100%. Armchair, who do you reckon it will be who gets a second automatic promotion spot? I'll chuck in some names at the end of the show, and Chris can as well.
Okay, we'll do it at the end. Remind me.
Yeah, I will. Before we do. Oh no, we'll do it after the award.
No, we'll do the award after. We'll do that first. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, next up, Middlesbrough hosting Derby. Now, there's 2 people in this chat here. Guess who went for a 2-1 Middlesbrough win?
I'm going to guess it was you because I put 2-0, I think, because I didn't think Derby would score without Carlton Morris being injured, right? And I was proven wrong because that Xtra man from Charlotte FC finally scored after his £7.5 million transfer. So props to you, Chris.
Tell you what, there's only two of us in here, and I said it's one of the 2 of us. If it wasn't you, it had to be me. I think Middlesbrough, and look, I have no love-hate either way for Middlesbrough, but I want them to do well. I'd love it. Let me just do this because I think we don't do this, to be honest with you, often enough.
I will love it if we beat them. Love it.
I would love it if Middlesbrough went up and Wolves came down.
Yeah, that'll be interesting, wouldn't it? Middlesbrough got a new badge, or their old badge back next year as well. So it would be like the 1997 year in that time when we had them in the League Cup final and all that. So yeah, it'd be interesting, wouldn't it?
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't even know they got a different badge now, to be honest with you.
Yeah, they're switching it back. It's going back to the good one rather than this very generic one that everyone seems to have.
What, they did in the Shield, you mean?
Yeah, now they're going back to the circle one.
Oh, well, to be honest with you, I'm not doing all my bloody things again for that. They could stick with that one. Derby, Josh went for a 1-1, which I kind of get because Derby had been on a decent run, hadn't they?
Yeah, we talk about preparation and trying to predict the scores and that. I kind of did too much research to assume that Derby would struggle without a top goal scorer for this one, right? So, you never know with Derby because they've been on such a good run. And of course, it was the first game in charge for Kim Hellberg. Obviously, he's taken over at Middlesbrough. He's literally got the Claudio Ranieri role, hasn't he, in this club now?
Yes.
Because it's very rare in football management. You go into a football club where there's nothing wrong. 99% of the time, you go into a football club where there's been a problem. So in some ways that could be harder to manage because you can't really go in there and start putting your own mark on it because there's nothing really wrong with it. So it's going to be interesting to see how he handles this going forward. And I've said for a long time, I'm not sure Middlesbrough are all that. I think they've got a good squad, but have they got a better squad than, say, Southampton? As Armchair's put in the chat there, I don't think so. I think Southampton are probably slightly better. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how this pans out the rest of the season for them. What's interesting quickly about Derby going into our game on Saturday, Chris, the thing that undone Derby in this game was 2 set pieces, and I think it was a corner and corners. You remember we used to do short corners, and all of a sudden we stopped doing it again. We need to do short corners against this team on Saturday because they do not deal well with it at all. So if we do not do it, I'm going to go absolutely bananas on Saturday because that is a way in. We're being shown, and there you go, Leicester, you'll be seeing this. I'm going to use some free advice. That shows you a way to get a Derby, especially when they're doing so much going forward attacking-wise with this 3-4-3 formation they're now putting out there.
Quite possibly. That's the problem, Armchair. I hope we don't buy anybody in January. And that doesn't mean I don't want anybody to come in, but I just loan them. Because January you're paying over the odds for average players. I mean, he's good, don't get me wrong, but that's the thing. Now, fair play. Like I say, I'd like Middlesbrough to do well. Next up, Southampton. Having praised them for beating us, as my friend said, we went and bloody lost. And again, it had to happen some point, but this new manager has come in. Well, it's not the new manager, is he? If he doesn't get the manager's job, what the fuck have you got to do?
No, he still hasn't got it yet, has he? Which is interesting. I thought they would have announced it after the Leicester result.
Well, I mean, I think the owner is more interested. He's looking at clubs all over Europe, isn't he? He wants to build up a mini empire. So I know that they have been playing, and I don't want to say I told you so, but you know what? I told you so. Will still couldn't manage the proverbial pee up in the brewery, and he had to go, and he went, and look at Southampton now,
Yeah, it's funny with Will still, isn't it? Because he's done very well in France. You can't deny that. In France, he did a superb job, actually, to get clubs that had no right to be near European places into European football. But the Championship is, I think, the most competitive league in the world. And we've seen that we talked about the tactics on the show we did on Sunday night after about Marti Cifuentes, and I went through what tactics team play and all the rest of it. And when you look at that, you realise it's a really, really difficult league to manage in because you've got to be incredibly versatile in order to maximise your potential. And he couldn't quite get it right. I think they played different formations, but Will still couldn't find the back of the net with his boys for some reason. Now they're finding it.
Oh, they are. And, he's done really, really well. 5-goal thriller. I went 1-1. Josh went 2-1 to Southampton. It was a bit of a surprise, but, fair play to Southampton. They've made the decision. We can't afford, unfortunately, I don't think, to make a decision. But there we go. Everybody will have their thought on Marty, but watch the previous show for mine.
What's so fascinating about this Millwall-Southampton game is obviously the first goal came in the 55th minute, so all these goals came after that. And ironically, Millwall, I know they won the game, but they were utterly dominant throughout all of it pretty much. Southampton managed to catch them on the counter a couple of times, but the right result came to pass in the 97th minute here, Chris. And I mean, it was a remarkable game of football because sometimes it doesn't go that way, does it? But interesting.
Norwich, who again have replaced their manager. I would question whether he's a good choice or not. I would imagine after this result that the owners at Norwich, bless her, good old Deirdre. Is it Deirdre?
Delia, isn't it? I'm not sure she's in charge. No, Chris, they've changed ownership, and I think don't forget, they spent like 50 million quid this summer. If they get relegated, they're banging
she's still there, though. She's still in the directors,
Yeah, but they invested a lot of money in this football club. I mean, they might be panicking a bit, so they get relegated. Make PSR is going to be a big worry.
Well, they gambled if they gambled, If they play like this, though, I had QPR down for a 2-1. Josh had them down for a 3-1. Fair play to Norwich. I mean, like I say, I don't particularly think they are it's the right manager. But this win puts them on 13. They're still 4 behind Portsmouth in 22nd. Norwich are in 23rd. But it keeps them in the hunt. Sheffield Wednesday just gone up to -10. They've done it officially now. It wasn't up there before. Oh, my God. So it keeps them in that hunt, doesn't it?
Well, it does, yeah. I mean, the funny thing is, Chris, we both actually kind of poo-pooed disappointment on the last episode, and I think we were kind of right to, because we knew he wasn't going to change their tactics, which he hasn't. However, this was a bit of a shock result to me, because they played exactly the same system they would have played under Manning, the previous manager, except they just were a little bit more present up the top of the pitch. That was the difference. They were much more higher pressing with it. So it maybe leans into the thing with Leicester. We're in a similar position with a similar group of players set up to play this sort of system. Perhaps a managerial change for us might bring the same result. I mean, if it can last, though, that's the question, isn't it? Will it last? This was a good result for them. Their first home win of the season, first win in 13 games for Norwich, which is staggering when you think about it. It was like the first 3 weeks of the season they actually won a game. A bit of a shock. I mean, QPR will be disappointed because they normally do well away from home as well, and they beat Blackburn away from home, which was a surprise. So,
And it's Norwich's first win at home.
Exactly. Yeah, even we managed to get some in there, didn't we?
Yeah. I mean, the fans were singing to us, you must be shit, we're winning at home, and then we sang, you must be shit, we're actually winning. So fair play to them. Like I say, it keeps them in the hunt. Armchair says their manager did well to get a 4-year deal. I didn't know he'd got a 4-year deal. Let me just say, if he, in Norwich's position, if they've gone to this guy, who I don't think was at another club, I could be wrong.
No, he was at Rangers previously, but he left.
Yeah, but not at the moment. I don't think he was working prior to this. And they said, we really want you to come and manage us. And he's going to say, well, look at you, you're in a relegation battle.
Yeah, but it's...
you might have to be giving 4-year deals out to actually get him.
That's right. And the interesting thing about it is, of course, is that they signed a load of players this summer, spending a lot of money to play a certain system, right? So it's interesting how they've replaced the manager and gone, we have to stick with the base plan we had because of the players we bought, if you see what I mean. So it's interesting now to see if that translates over. And fair play to them in some ways for their commitment to that, because it's a sort of thing, if it blows up in your face at the end of the season and you do get relegated, the fans will go for you big time.
Oh, too true. I've just mentioned Sheffield Wednesday there, bottom of the pile. Probably more peed off now that Sheffield United are winning. Interestingly, there's been a lot of noise about Sheffield United buying Sheffield Wednesday.
Oh, it's all rubbish. It's not true.
Oh, I know. I had Dylan on from the Sheffield United Way for the preview, and I said, what would you do? And he said, I'd support non-league.
Yeah, there's plenty of clubs to Sheffield.
Yeah, I said, I understand that. You got Sheffield FC, the oldest club, apparently, in football. So, and I said, how do you feel about Sheffield Wednesday being in this much trouble? Do you know? It's a sister, well, not a sister team, but it's team. We haven't even got another team in the bloody county, let alone in the same town. No. And he said, I love it.
Really? See, I think that's quite harsh. I didn't feel that bad. I didn't feel like that for Coventry when it looked like
that's what I said, and that was the nearest thing. I said, don't get me wrong, I'd love the fact that they got relegated. I love the fact that they didn't have a home to play in. I didn't want them to go out of business.
No, 100%. There's a line for me, isn't there? Where I think you actually become a little bit bitter and a little bit. Yeah, I don't think that's
said, good. Oh, no. He said, Sheffield, no, we want them to. We're enjoying it. He said, and they would enjoy it with us. I don't know. But, he's the United fan. He knows more than me. But, like I said, fucking hell, I wish our players would show this much passion. Sheffield Wednesday 2, Preston 3. I went 3-0 Preston. Josh went 2-0. And we're suddenly like, shit, what's happening here? I mean, I'm going to say, and I said this, again, I know a Sheffield Wednesday fan as a friend, and I said to him the other week, I said, fair play to you and your fans. for staying with it, now coming out and spending all this money, £1 million or whatever it was the week he left. I said, and the players, they absolutely try. I mean, not of a standard, but if we played the youngsters and this was happening, at least I'd be thinking, oh, they're putting an effort in, and that's what these are doing.
Yeah, well, that's exactly it, isn't it? I mean, it's one of those horrible things. I mean, we look at this game as well, Chris. They were in the lead twice in this game, and they missed a penalty. So you think when things aren't going for you, they're really not going for you at times, And I think for some reason they're going through a life arc story now as a football club and players individually, where it's like you're gonna, you've got to find that in you for some reason. The world's presenting it to them, right? Of course, they had a very small squad to start the season as well, with all the thing that was going on. They barely had enough players to field at 11. I remember before we started the season, didn't I say to you, I wasn't sure the Sheffield Wednesday Leicester game would actually happen because it was that bad of a situation. Credit to them. I mean, like today once again kicks them more than this. And just to quickly touch on Preston, I think it shows you something when the Preston manager was actually quite angry at this result because he kind of felt like they put themselves in too much trouble here, and this is what he wants to get out of them at Preston to make them a playoff team, because this is what they did last year. There was too many games where they would do this and they'd have to fight back, and they get themselves having to recycle themselves into a good position again that was of their own making. So, I mean, credit to him for doing it, but he is right in that image, I think, Heckingbottom, where he goes, if we do want to be considered for a promotion push in the playoffs, we've got to get out of this habit. They did it against Sheffield United as well, ironically, and both of them were 3-2.
And Preston still haven't have the drop that we've all been saying that they were going to have. They're still up in 5th. I like Preston as a club. I've got happy memories of living down the road from them. I've said it many times. So I love one season for them to actually do it. Whether it's this season, I don't know. It'll be a playoff for them, I think, rather than an automatic. And then, of course, it's just a lottery, isn't it, when it comes to the playoffs? But fair play to Preston up there in 5th. Sheffield Wednesday, look, there but for the grace of God, as they say.
That's it, mate. And God bless them, and hopefully, mate, they can pull the miracle Bournemouth thing off, because we'd all love to see that story, wouldn't we? I remember not even knowing much about Bournemouth when Bournemouth did the unthinkable under Eddie Howe in League Two, and the final day when they stayed up, I got really like, this is amazing. And look what happened since. That sort of thing completely lifted that football club to the realm where they're in the Premier League now. I mean, that should be a movie, that.
Yeah, and I can remember, because that was the year I actually moved down and worked in Bournemouth. And I can remember seeing Bournemouth players outside the Pavilion Theatre, which is the big one. The Pavilion is the slightly smaller one, but the older one. And with tubs collecting money.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? It just shows you if you're in a hard time in life, and we should take this on as people, actually. Sport could give you that great stuff. If you're having a really hard time in life, never give up. Because you know, a bit of digging in and you could get yourselves out of it.
And I still say 15-16 when we, did the impossible. If it hadn't been for us, Bournemouth would have been the story that season.
Oh, totally, yeah, because we could be overshadowed world football.
And stayed up, And I think in a way we probably did them a favour. I don't mean that sarcastically, but I think it took a hell of a lot of pressure off Bournemouth.
Kept them under the radar. I totally agree with that. And they drew with us in that early game of the season, didn't they?
They did. I was sat in fact, there's a thing, I've got the clip somewhere off Match of the Day, where I obviously living down here, I got a ticket, but it was in the Bournemouth end.
Yeah, she snuck in. Yeah, I did that once at Chelsea for Leicester.
Yeah. How I got the ticket, I don't know, because my email address is a Leicester email address, Leicester till I die. And I was sat there, and you could see, and I was surrounded by some rather large Bournemouth fans. And as the goal went in, I'd got my Leicester top on, but over that I'd got a red and white shirt. So you could see as Jamie Vardy scored, because he scored at that end, it was a penalty. Yeah. And he ran across the goal because the Leicester fans were in that bottom corner. And you can see me just sat there like this.
Yeah, just literally try not to crack so the security
Yeah,
don't come out,
yeah.
strong arm you out of there.
And
Great
at
point
the
from Arndt. Oh, sorry, carry on, mate.
Yeah, so at the end, I did open my shirt and so I got, and then this steward came up and said, "What are you doing in this end? How did you get in?" But one of my mates was a steward then, so he goes, "Oh, it's all right, it's with me," sort of thing, you know.
Yeah,
So I got
exactly.
away with it.
Yeah.
But no, fair play to Sheffield Wednesday. We all love them to do it.
I was going to say, Armchair's made a great point there in the chat again. I think Preston were 9 first-team players short for injury 2 weeks ago. That is a very good point, and that is kind of what clubs like Preston and Charlton, who've had a good start, are now dropped to 17th. Charlton, which is a bit of a concern. That's the problem they have to navigate over any other team in this league because they have probably got one of the smaller squads.
Yeah. Agree. West Bromwich Albion, Swansea.
I had 2-2 for this. 2-2 I had for this. No one else got close.
I had 2-0. Josh had 1-0. I don't know where you thought Swansea might not necessarily score 2 goals, but actually get anything from this game.
New manager bounce.
Well, I get it. I see where you're coming from, actually. I forgot that. But Swansea having a dreadful season. They're in 21st. They're only above the relegation zone on goal difference, and that's only 1 goal difference. A couple of wins would obviously take them away, but I can't see them getting a couple of wins. But West Bromwich Albion themselves aren't exactly having a... Although, they've climbed up the table recently. They're sat up in 12th now on 25 points. But again, they were struggling before this, weren't they? Wow, that was a 5-goal thriller.
It was. A thank you to West Brom because Leicester weren't the team to concede the earliest goal of the weekend. It was West Brom. Swansea scored. Swansea scored after 12 seconds, Chris.
Whoa.
Yeah,
thank you, West Brom.
Thank you very much, West Brom. If someone's going to help us, it's going to be a bit of the rival. So, we're not the biggest embarrassment on one front this weekend because that is something. They were 2-0 down after 11 minutes. Swansea were 2 up, and then West Brom fought their way back. The sort of result for West Brom, you think, look, if Ryan Mason is going to do something for this group, you've got to energise from this, right? Because there's been a lot of noise about them. They're not being happy with how he's been running the things. And I mean, I think that's something they've really got to take from this because when we played West Brom, I thought they were actually a pretty well organised team. They just seemed to lack quality in front of goal. It seemed to be long-range efforts that was the best they could offer, and I thought they were a little bit dry outside of that. So if Ryan Mason can find Hegbo getting more goals now, like he got 2 in this one, there's still hope for them to get into playoff places, like I think you predicted, Chris, actually, at the start of the year as well. So, it's a big game this for West Brom. If they can carry this on from here, it's going to be crucial to Ryan Mason if he's going to be employed at Christmas or not, probably.
Huge one. Yeah, huge. I mean, the fans aren't happy with him, are they?
No, they're not. I mean, they're up to 13th after this, but they were hovering around about 16th. And the funny thing about the league this year is I've got this funny feeling the way it is. There's actually very few bad teams, which is why I'm so worried about Leicester this year. I actually look down and I think there's going to be 1 or maybe 2 teams this year who get relegated, you could argue, aren't actually bad teams.
Yeah, no, totally. Look, your kind of friendly team, Wrexham. I actually went for Wrexham.
Well done.
Win this, and they let me down.
I went for Blackburn.
Yes. Well, Josh went 2-2. I went 1-0 to Wrexham, and it was 1-1.
It was 95th minute equaliser for Wrexham as well. So a tight game throughout it, I mean, that's the thing with Wrexham, the way they set up. I mean, and they're trying to do this under Parkinson. They're trying to keep games tight, aren't they? Because then they can nick them. And that seems to be their strategy, kind of like what Oxford do, except on a grander scale, perhaps, and a bit more investment in them. So, I mean, Wrexham only found their first shot in the 84th minute in this. So Blackburn, no doubt, will view this as a missed opportunity because you think, Chris, Blackburn are only 18th still. But they had a pretty good run starting from beating us at the King Power, didn't they? And they haven't really pushed on enough yet where you can go, I'm not so certain they're out of relegation trouble. It's the inconsistency for even Wrexham a little bit, which is the thing that's going to hold up these clubs. I mean, Wrexham are up to 9th now, which is kind of like nosebleed territory for them, because I think even for them, they probably expected if they could keep themselves into the division this year, that would be great. I mean, I'm going to give a shout out to their goalkeeper, Okonkwo, because they've worked out Danny Ward, obviously, with his injury, isn't playing, but they've worked it out he's not very good anyway. But this guy's come in, and he is really, in this game, he kept Wrexham in this so they could nick it. So there's, I think that's a real credit to him as an individual. And if Wrexham spend some money in January, can they keep dreaming?
Well, them and Birmingham. Wrexham are up to 10th.
He's up to 10th now, yeah.
Yeah, Birmingham are in 7th. West Brom down are in 12th now, as you say. Blackburn, I thought they were on a bit of a run after beating us, like you say, but I think we've seen same old, to be honest with you. And they're down in 19th. No, they're not. They're in 18th. Sorry.
Yep.
Just finished. Final game. I went 2-1. Josh went 2-1. It's a Barry Fry Memorial game, not a Super 6 or an almost Memorial game. It's finished. Birmingham 2, Watford 1. So, like I say, Birmingham are up to, what did I say they were up to?
I think that's 7th, aren't they?
7th, that's right. They're up to 7th. So, just outside the playoffs by 1 point. I didn't think Birmingham would be doing this well, and at the start, they kind of looked like they were going to struggle.
They were feeling it out.
There was some rumblings about the manager, but look, they're in 7th, Wrexham are in 10th, Charlton were up there. They've dropped back a bit now, 17th. I'd swap with them.
Yeah, it's interesting that, isn't it? I mean, I had Birmingham for automatic promotion this year because I felt they'd do an Ipswich, and at the start it wasn't looking very likely. But I did say my reasoning behind this is because I know they've got money to chuck at it in January if they need to. And I think that's a big part of it. They're going to be one that can spend because of the commercial side of the football club now, right? So I think it's coming up good. I mean, to only win 2-1 tonight is quite a surprise almost. You look back at their previous results, they've been starting to score 3 and 4 goals a game now, Chris. So they're actually the one that's still slightly under the radar, but they are coming. Those players are starting to find the back of the net now. And a lot of it is they've changed their formation.
Wow, who knew? Interestingly, Watford, one of 3 teams on 24. Southampton in 14th on +3 goal difference. Watford in 15th on 1. Leicester in 16th on -1. Watford are basically being Watford, aren't they? Change of manager doesn't make any difference. It is what it is for Watford.
Yeah, once again, it's consistency, isn't it? That's the thing. I mean, if they can get them consistently going, I think having Gracia is, he's the guy they want there. The players are much more happier under him, and I think there was a chance if they hadn't made that change, they might have been slipping down towards the Norwich territory almost, which for Watford would be unheard of, wouldn't it? They've always been a Championship team. League One's not really been on their radar for a while. So, I think for them, if they can just solidify the ship and give them a bit of transfer money in the end of the season, I think then Watford will make a push for it, but this season's probably a write-off for them on consistency level, isn't it?
Right, here's the league table. The Coventry top, Middlesbrough second, 10 points behind. But look at Coventry's goal difference, 32. For God's sake, they're not going to lose out on anything because of goal difference, are they? No. Millwall still doing well in third. They could be a surprise package. Stoke in fourth, Preston fifth, Bristol 6th. And then just outside the playoffs, this is this is before tonight's result, because obviously I did this earlier. You've got Hull, Ipswich, Wrexham and Birmingham, Derby, West Brom, and that's the top half. So Wrexham and Birmingham have moved up to 7th, and everybody else has moved down one. That's basically the difference from tonight.
Yeah.
Are one of you, because obviously Southampton was the one that Armchair went for as breaking into the playoffs. Who are you going for to break into the playoffs?
I think out of these teams, I would definitely put Birmingham in that conversation. As I thought at the start of the season, they've actually not changed my mind despite the dodgy start, Chris. So, but the teams that I think can drop out of the playoffs, I think Middlesbrough could, I think Stoke could, I think Preston could.
So, the original question was, who did we think would be the one to go in? Southampton for Armchair, which I can see. You've gone Birmingham.
I can see Southampton doing it as well. In fact, I can see Southampton getting second.
So I've got to pick somebody, I guess, that's different to you two.
Yeah, I mean, you can look in the bottom half. It's that tight, Chris. You don't know. I mean, don't forget, Roy Keane was Sunderland. Obviously, took him from the bottom of the league to automatic promotion in 6 months, didn't he? So it's not unheard of in this league.
Okay, I'm going to nail my colours to the mast here, and you'll probably laugh at me. I don't know. You may or may not laugh at me. I think the surprise package, and I'm going to go. The emphasis here is on surprise.
Okay.
Surprise package to get into the playoffs. I'm going to go Sheffield United.
Yeah, and I don't disagree with you. I think they're also one of mine that I think could go in the playoffs as well. I think there's a lot of movement to come yet. A lot of movement.
Yeah, you're quite right. I can see Bristol, Preston, and Stoke. I kind of fancy, and maybe even Middlesbrough possibly. I think Millwall will still be up there. I don't think they'll be second. But to be honest with you, fair play to Millwall. Again,
Yeah.
it's somebody different. I just hate the same ones going up and down. Coventry haven't been up for years. Fair play to them. I'd love to see actually Millwall, and people will hate me for this. I'll get loads of hate. Like I said, Bristol City, but I don't think they will. Ipswich will probably sneak into the playoffs.
Yeah, probably. The Millwall one's a funny one because Millwall do fine against teams that they shouldn't be expected to do well against, but then they lose to Portsmouth and then they lose to QPR. They lose to funny teams, Millwall. If they get that out of their system, they can do it.
Yeah, but they're still up there in third, So, for me, Sheffield United will be my dark horse. It's easy to say Ipswich because I think they will. Southampton possibly playoffs. Ipswich I think could be second. I'm going for Sheffield United as the dark horse. Derby says armchair. A bit inconsistent for me, but I can see why you've gone there.
I've got Carlton Morris out till January, which is going to be a problem.
Well, it's almost like you would want to bet against someone in a game, wouldn't you, Tom?
Maybe. I still don't see it happening on Saturday. I think we're going to be in for a bad game.
Yes, yeah. Here's the bottom half, which includes highlighted in blue there. Leicester City drew 1-2, lost 2. Talking about inconsistency. QPR up to 13th. Southampton totally changed the season around. Watford doing Watford. Leicester on 24th with a possible points deduction over them. Charlton, Blackburn, Sheffield United, Oxford, Swansea, Portsmouth, Norwich, and of course Sheffield Wednesday, as it says there, now on -10. Look, it's all over for Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah, I think
We'd love to see them do it, but I think we can say they are going to go down through no fault of their own. And sometimes that's just what we're going to discuss, Armchair. All right, give us a chance, Armchair. Back off. Yeah. Love it, Armchair. Love it.
Love it.
As we would love to see Sheffield Wednesday, but I don't think they can.
I think we're both in agreement. They're down bottom, aren't they?
Yeah. Now, my bottom three at the start of the season were, I believe, if my memory serves me right, Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah.
Charlton.
Yeah, it was.
And Oxford.
Yes, that was your three, I remember. Yeah.
Now, I kind of had my head turned by Charlton because when you get all these experts going on and putting the data, and I went for Charlton because A, it was the playoff winners, and B, everybody else was saying Charlton, not us guys, but online, what have you. That's why I went for the three. When we discussed this last time, I kind of said, I kind of stuck with Oxford. They're still going down.
Yeah.
But I kind of think they might stay up now. They've shown me since we last discussed this, which was probably about 4 weeks ago, they've got some good results. I think they'll be there or thereabouts, but I think they will survive, as Gloria Gaynor would say. Yeah. So for me now, well, I'll tell you what, before I say me now, do you know what yours then was?
Yeah, I do, because I'm sat here laughing at myself, hiding my face, because I misread the whole situation, didn't I, with their bad things going on behind the scenes. So I had Hull.
Okay.
And
it doesn't matter what order then.
No. We didn't choose the order. And my other one I had was QPR.
Ooh.
Because they obviously... and it was Sheffield Wednesday.
Sheffield Wednesday, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, you were saying about QPR?
I was saying the QPR one I went with because I felt they'd gone a bit left field with their managerial appointment. But to be fair to them, like after the dodgy 7-1 hammering from Coventry, they seem to have really, got a bit of fight back in them. So I don't think that's very likely. Although the funny thing is, mate, is still that sort of a league where someone like them could still go down.
Yeah. Well, let's have a look at it now because we both just said then we still think it's going to be Sheffield Wednesday.
I agree, yeah. Both Sheffield Wednesday bottom.
Yeah.
Who have you got 23rd? And I'll do my 23rd.
Okay, 23rd. I'm going to go Swansea.
Oh, okay, interesting. Because they've gambled this money on a new manager. They have changed their formation to 4-3-3, a very Portuguese style of football. But I do see what you're getting at. Will it actually translate in the Championship?
Your 23rd?
Portsmouth. I'm going for the easy one. I just think their squad depth isn't there either, and I don't think they're going to be able to get out of it in a minute.
Now, that's interesting because my 22nd is Portsmouth.
Interesting.
So I agree with you. We're different on the positions, but I somehow think Norwich... It might again. I think it won't be easy, but I think they might just survive because we've seen. If he got that win against a pretty half decent QPR side, 3-1, first home win. The seeds of the green shoots of spring are starting to show. Who is your third one to go down?
Oh, I'm really stuck between two, and do you know what, Chris? It's the two teams I like the most. I think it's either going to be Oxford or Leicester.
Wow!
Yeah.
Where did you? Wow! All right, let's take that. Let's break that down then. Right, Oxford. That's like me saying Charlton.
Yeah, I mean, look, they wouldn't deserve it. They wouldn't deserve it. But on the balance of things that are happening this season, with new managers coming in at Swansea and Norwich, I do worry that even if they're a good team, it might not be enough. And I love them, as you know, because I used to live in Oxford. And the Leicester one, well, we could have this points deduction. Let's be frank.
Hang on a minute.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Okay.
No.
I'm rushing ahead.
Time out. Mr. We're going to fight it, and we're not going to get it this season. Saying we now get this points deduction.
Yeah, but I'm like everyone else, Chris. Like, I don't have faith in the club. The problem I've got is I don't have faith in the ownership to make the right decision, even if we do sack the manager, or even if we do this, or if we do that. And it's just got shades of the season we went down under Holloway, hasn't it? Where we kind of just got slower and lower and lower, and before you knew it, we were in trouble. And I just don't think the players I think we've all been saying this for weeks now. There's 23 other teams in this league that show a lot more mettle than we do, a lot more fight, a lot more passion. And I don't think the players care enough. And that is a big concern for me because this is a league where it's that tight that I think that's the sort of thing that catches you with your trousers down at the end of it. I did say at the start of this season, to be fair, though, I did worry we could do a Luton if we didn't get our heads straight. And we haven't got our heads straight, have we? That was my gut feeling at the start of the season. So I hate to say it, mate, because it breaks my heart, because, I want to be passionate and go, look, my heart's going to keep us positive about this, but you've got to be realistic, and go, I'm looking at the facts of the situation. And I think both of the teams I like the most in this league might be the ones that are going to go. So it's between them. I'll go for Oxford to save the team I support.
Who are you talking about there, by the way, Armchair?
That's for Leicester, I think.
Yeah, all right. He's got Norwich and Leicester going down with Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah.
Everybody at the start of the season, everybody was going, we're going to walk this league. All right, cheers, Armchair. We're going to walk this league.
Yeah.
And again, I hope those people that were saying that are looking at themselves in the mirror and going, you daft cunt. Because there's no, we were never going to walk this league. We were never going to have an Enzo Mark II season.
And there's a lot of pressure from the fan base of what a good supporter is. Right? I've had this week with the fans going early and all the rest of it. And I must be honest, mate, I've been influenced by that because I don't want to go against my love of Leicester, but I don't want us to be blind to the situation, not able to look in the mirror, because I think the club's doing that, and that's part of the problem.
True.
So difficult.
Very, very true. Go back and you should have watched it from the start. I don't know if you saw, because Steve on the show earlier, on the review show, was one of those that left early.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter. But people, I mean, this is what I find amazing. People seem to want to tell other people what to do a lot in this world now, and I kind of think it's the most lowest vibration. It only hurts you because it only shows what sort of person you are. Who gives a crap? Anyone can do what they want.
Yeah, no, exactly. And as I said, I have absolutely no problem with him doing that. It's his money.
Yeah.
And at 3-0 down, and the way we were playing, I never saw that possible comeback on. I'd go and have a pint and say, at least I'm going to enjoy the afternoon, you know.
Yeah.
But here we go. Performance of the week. Talk us through it. Talk us through it.
Right, so performance of the week, guys. We know what we're going to do. I'm going to throw 3 nominations out there to Chris, which he can choose from, or he could poo-poo me completely, go completely left field, and we will choose the winner of the great trophy. We should give it a name, Chris, apart from performance of the week. Maybe not the Barry Fry Memorial Trophy, even though he's not gone anywhere yet. He's still with us. But we should think of a name, so we'll get to that at some point.
And that we want Nigel back trophy.
Oh, that's a bit too obvious. We'll think about it. While you're away on holiday, Chris, have a few sherbets and come up with something really left field for us, right? So yeah. The interesting one is we could have done, obviously, for the first week's lot of fixtures as well. But actually, I did look at those games quickly, and actually, there was none of them that really stood out to me as being worthy of it anyway. Maybe Wrexham winning at home. That was it.
I was just thinking of time. We should just stick to the second week, to be honest.
Yeah, we should. But it was the second week's ones that were interesting. So the winner last week was Oxford United.
Yes, for the second time.
For the second time this season.
Yeah.
It doesn't. So they've got a nomination again this week, Chris, as you can imagine, starting off the Friday night championship flurry with a shock win over Ipswich, because I don't think anyone expected them to do that particularly. Even I would have predicted that, as you know, from what I've just said about them, and I do have a lot of affection for them. So yeah. I think also it's a matter of when they got this result, because if they'd lost that game or drawn that game, with Norwich breathing over their necks now, I think that is crucial, right? So well done to them. I think it's also the time they did it. So I'm going to give Oxford a nomination this week. Armchair and anyone else, get your one in the chat when I've not done all 3 as well. The second one, I'm going to go for Millwall. I think Southampton obviously are on a run of games where they've been smashing goals past anyone they come up against. And by all accounts, like I say, I went back and watched a bit of that game, the highlights, and Millwall were dominant. Millwall actually didn't give Southampton a sniff in that. They scored against the run of play from the penalty spot, Southampton, to go ahead. So I think that is the level of performance from Millwall there was actually quite staggering, even though it was at home. So Millwall's got the second one. And the third one, going to give it to the new man down with the Canaries, Norwich City, because not won at home all season, first win in 13 games. I think that is a sort of result that can really change your season, and you need to get it early because the Swansea manager is now 2 games in and it's already looking a little bit shaky, right? So there you go, guys. That's my 3 nominations. Like I say, Chris can go left field. I didn't bring up Southampton. I didn't bring up Sheffield United, just to throw that out there. Oxford, Millwall or Norwich. What do you think, Chris, and what do you think, chat?
You know what? You've made it really difficult this week.
I mean, they've made it really difficult.
Well, yes, they have, but you've chosen 3. Normally, I can say, right, well, forget that one, and then it's between 2, but you've picked some 3 very, very good choices.
A lot of it's how I pitch them, I think, as well. I always try to work on my pitch for it and give some good reasoning behind it, because of course it's a weekly award, so I took it in the context of the week. Yeah,
we've not got to think about positions or anything like that. No. It literally just is on the results that you see that we've just talked through.
I mean, a poo-poo one could have been Hull because of the win against Stoke, but then you do think Stoke sometimes don't turn up, and Hull are normally and Hull are top 6. So
yes. I mean, you could put an argument in there for Sheffield United, 2 goals in the first 4 minutes.
Yeah, so but Leicester are poor.
Well, yes, there are, yeah. So that could have been a possibility. Hull, like you say, could have been a possibility, but Stoke they're just not regular, are they? Do you know what I mean? They can be. You don't know which Stoke's going to turn up. Is what I'm trying to say.
They're in the same place, aren't they?
Yeah. So you could say that wasn't really a surprise. Coventry, look, they're expected to win.
They've set a high bar to get nominated now, haven't they?
Yeah, they have, unfortunately. And I don't think we were doing it when they won 7-0, were we?
No, but actually, well, I'm going to go back and fill in the gaps like I talked to you about, and they will win that week for the 7-1.
Right. Middlesbrough kind of expected. You know what? Fair play to Sheffield Wednesday. I know they lost 3-2, but they were 2-0 up, did you say? I think, didn't you?
No, they were 1-0 up, and it was 1-1, then went 2-1 up, and then they missed a penalty.
Yeah.
Then they missed a penalty.
Yeah. For them, in their position, to be ahead twice, possibly a third time if they'd scored the penalty, I'm going to throw Sheffield Wednesday into the hat.
Yeah, I was going to say, but I don't think you can give it to them because they end up losing the game.
It's performance, not result of the week.
Yeah, okay. Well, I guess it's like your sex life, isn't it? If you go for 20 minutes, but the ending's not so good, then, yeah, okay.
I wouldn't know.
Stamina over the finishing.
I'm going to say, what's this 20-minute shit?
Not that I time it or anything. Just
No. All right, dear.
One potato,
knickers down.
three potato.
I'm starting the watch. Get your knickers down. But no, it is the performance of the week. That's all I was saying. And can I just say, when I said about what's this 20-minute shit, it's because I never made it that long. I wasn't bragging or anything like that. Armchair there, yeah.
We should give it to the Jaguars for your hat, Chris, because obviously they've gone top of their division now.
Have they? Oh,
yeah. Jim's getting excited.
Surprised because Jim hasn't said anything about that.
Quiet.
West Brom, but again they beat Swansea. Wrexham, Blackburn now. Birmingham tonight. No, because they did what we expected. So
you give them placings if you want. You can go like in third place and second place, whatever you fancy, mate. The world is your oyster. And you'll be eating oysters next week.
I won't because I can't stand them.
Me neither.
I find that they're twice as hard on the way out as they were on the way in. But, right. I'm not going to give it to Sheffield Wednesday. But I do think they would have been fourth. They do deserve an honourable mention.
I'm happy with that. That's fair enough. Maybe to boost them to get a win next time.
Yeah, maybe. You've really made it difficult, aren't you? So at least I'm not going to overrule you this week.
Yeah, that's a rarity. It's been 2 weeks in a row you've overruled me.
Yeah. I see where you're coming from with Oxford, but they have had it twice already.
They have. They're the record 2-time winners at the moment until we fill out the gaps.
Millwall, I like that. That was the run that Southampton are on,
and the manner of the win.
Yeah, and the manner of the win. And Norwich, look, they didn't just scrape this 1-0.
No.
It's a team that wins nothing at home, and yet they won 3-1 at home.
And against a team that generally has done quite well on the road.
Yes, yeah. So I'm going to go. Oh, it's really hard, and I've not said that for many a year.
No one said that to you for many a year either. Sorry, mate. That's terrible.
Oh, no, you're quite right. Bastard. No, you're not right at all. What am I saying? Right. All right, I'm going to have to make a decision, aren't I?
You are, because it's been about 5 minutes so far.
I know, I can drag. Just think of me as there's a VAR.
Yeah.
Right, in third place, Millwall.
Oh, I'm surprised. Okay.
You think you know where this is going. You're probably right. In second place, Oxford.
Oh, there we go.
So in first place, Norwich.
And there we go. That's for Norwich. And I'm pretty sure that's Norwich's first one of the season because they haven't won any.
No, exactly. Yeah, no. And that is why they've won it. Not only did they win, but they won it from, convincingly, let's be honest with you. And 3-1, that's got to be reasonably convincing without knowing the facts. But it was a very good 3. You made it really, really... That's probably been my most difficult decision I've had to make.
No, I'm glad, mate. I want to keep that up because I don't want you to poleaxe me every week. So the next time you're back off holiday, we'll have another fresh 3 for that one. And we'll see at the end of the season who's going to get the title of this.
Yeah, I've got to say Oxford came so close. Had Oxford...
Don't you know I go to university, dear?
Yes, yeah. Now, as Oxford had actually won it twice and won it last week, that probably actually worked against them.
Yeah, understandable. And I didn't nominate them last time either.
No, you didn't. But for me, like I say, it was kind of, Oxford can do this occasionally.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean,
tell you what I'm going to do. So I'm going to change my mind.
You're going to change your mind? Am I going to have to cross this out?
No. It's still Norwich.
Okay.
I'm going to put Oxford third.
Okay.
No, I'm not. Leave Oxford as second. Leave Oxford as second because Millwall, they are in the top,
top
4.
3.
So again, they're kind of expected. Yep. So that's it. So thank you. That was a lot shorter than the last show.
No, I did try and keep my answers short for you, mate, because you've got to pace yourself now. You've got a holiday to look forward to.
Oh my God! I tell you what, I'm missing 3 games. You're going to be doing the watch-alongs. Good luck, mate. Because on Saturday, I've got to say, I was watching it, but I was actually also doing not porn, but I was doing other things on my computer for the radio show because I was that bored. And then it got to the second half, and I'm thinking, I better start watching this now.
Oh, amazing, mate! You chose the first of the right half not to watch.
I did. Unlike when I watched the Jaguars for the first time, and I watched the second half when they did all the scoring in the first. Thanks very much, Tom. You're a gentleman, sir. I will see you on my return.
That's right, mate. Yeah. So I'll see everyone else for the watch along on Saturday where I'm taking control of the spaceship. So good luck, everyone.
Yes. He's no Max Verstappen. Yes, you are, mate. Yes, you are. Thanks to Tom. Brilliant as always, mate. Great for making it difficult for me. Thanks to everybody in the chat. Do what it says at the bottom. Subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Please like the video. It's free. Share it with anybody you know who's a Leicester fan that might not have seen it. And don't forget to hype it as well.
Hype and like. That's what we say nowadays, Chris.
That's what we're doing it. Hype and like. And if you've been listening via your favourite podcast platform, whichever that may be, thank you very much. Take care. I'll be back tomorrow at 7 for the Foxes Forum. See you then. What was it they used to say? There used to be a thing on the TV. I'll be seeing there.
No idea, Chris. End the show.
Thanks for watching. These videos are tremendous. You better like them too, or I'll be back.
This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network. TalkSport. Powered by fans.
That will conclude this evening's entertainment.